Hello everyone, it's Andy Gray, family genealogist, reporting to you from Three Springs Cemetery in Weirton, West Virginia. Although when the cemetery was founded, this was just Hancock County, West Virginia, very rural. There was no Weirton. It was founded many years later as a steel company city. The old cemetery is on top of a hill. As we move towards the back, we'll get to some of the older graves, and then down the hill is the new stuff. Just to give you a refresher, we're here to visit the graves of the Logan and Brice families. The Brice family, Margaret Brice is the oldest child of the Brice family, who married William Logan. Margaret had a total of 7 brothers and sisters who lived in the area, most of whom are here, and she had with William a total of 10 children, many of whom are here as well. So I'm going to start walking, and we're going to walk towards the back of the cemetery plot. We'll also see a lot of graves for the Ralston family, and the Logans and Brices have a history with the Ralston family, as they had the 3 largest farms in the area all along Kings Creek. And as you see, there's a few markers there, and here's our first Brice marker. It's a pretty big marker, and you can see it's kind of blank on the front. There's a name here on the side, and sorry about my shadow, it's weird lighting. This is Sarah Brice, died August 5th, 1902, age 84 years. Sarah Brice was the 3rd daughter in the Brice family, so this is Margaret's younger sister, and she never married or had children. In fact, she stayed on the Brice family farm for many years with her brother, who was married just on the other side here. This is hard to read, I know, with a shadow, but it says Ephraim Brice died March 28th, 1894, aged, looks like 65 years, gone but not forgotten. You can see they each have their own footstone. Here's Ephraim, and Sarah's over here. Now don't be confused, this Ephraim Brice isn't Margaret's father, the original Irish immigrant Ephraim Brice. This is his son, so this would be Ephraim Jr. So they both lived together on the farm for many years, and obviously expected to have families, maybe, because they have a very large empty plot here. I mentioned to you the Ralston family right here behind. This is Jeremiah Ralston and his wife Jane Ralston. Jane is marked as 1830 to 1911. And right next door over here we have Resin Ralston, married to Eleanor Ralston. Her dates say August 12, 1821 to October 9, 1899. These are significant because both of these women are Brice sisters. Both Eleanor and Jane Brice married Ralston boys. And there's a continuation here of more Ralston graves, which I'm sure are some of whom are their descendants. I haven't quite got that all sorted out yet. Over here we have more Brice graves. There's a very interesting, beautiful one, and you can see it has a mason symbol in the middle of it, as well as it looks like some kind of worker tool up there. This is very hard to read, but this is the grave of William Brice. So this is another one of Margaret's brothers. Margaret was the oldest, then it went Eleanor, Sarah, then William, so he's the 4th child. He died in 1873 and had 2 children. His son is Willie Howard Brice. Here he is right next door. Kind of a neat looking marker. Again, with a foot thing. Willie had no children, and his marker reads August 24th, 1870 died October 26th, 1893, it looks like. And it looks like there was room for expansion, but like all the Brices never had children. And this one I definitely recognize. Jesse Brice is the other child of William Brice, the brother of Willie that we were just looking at. You can see it says 1873 to 1950. To my knowledge, Jesse Brice is the last descendant, at least with the name Brice. And I think it's interesting that you see he's inscribed as friend, which kind of tells me that there was no relatives when he was buried. He was buried as a friend. So that is the last of the Brices. All right, on that pleasant note, we're going to take a walk, and I'm heading now up the hill a little bit. You can see there's all kinds of obelisks and interesting markers around, some of which have fallen over, unfortunately. The ground is pretty unstable here. And we're heading over to a Logan marker. It's going to be in the shadows, I'm afraid. But here it is. Oh, gosh, it's probably really hard to see. But this is John Logan. I'm going to read it. Born February 12th, 1838, died January 15th, 1898. And his wife Nancy A. Logan, born June 21st, 1847, died February 2nd, 1920. This is John Logan is William and Margaret's oldest son, the second child, their oldest son. And he had a son named William as well. An awful lot of Williams in this family. And there's William Logan, his son, buried right next door. I don't know if he had children or not. Apparently not. Well, it says father, but he's here alone. I don't see any children. All right, now we're heading this way, kind of in the center now of the hill. Got another Logan grave to show you. Sorry if my nose is running. It's a little breezy and cold out here. My hands are currently freezing. All right, here we go. More Ralstons. Not sure how they're a part of this group, but here's another William Logan. This William Logan was born 1844 to 1917. And this is another son of William and Margaret Logan. This is 1, 2, 3, I'm looking at my cheat sheet, their fifth child and second oldest son. So that's William Logan. I don't know if he had any family. There's nobody buried here with him. He's all by himself here. Heading up the hill. There's a camel grave. That's another very common name up here. Another common name up here we see is the Swearingen. I have no idea if it's the same exact family, but that's the Swearingen we have a picture of. And they're not related to the Watts or Logans. They're actually through marriage in the Watt family. Emma Jane Logan Watt married her sister, Mary Swearingen. Ooh, the wind is really bad. I'm going to head this way. I can't even see what I'm doing right now because I can't look down. Okay. There's some old Ralston grave markers. So this may be the original Ralston. I'm going to check it out. But now we get to our original ancestors. So right here, these are the markers. These two white markers are the graves for Francis Brice and Ephraim Brice, the original Irish immigrants who came over in the late 18 teens, somewhere around 1818. You can see Francis's marker has fallen. But the truth is that may be a good thing because it's more legible. It says Francis, wife of Ephraim Brice, died November 22nd, what looks to be 1871, in the 78th year of her life. A little Bible verse under it. Although you can't really read this very well, this is Ephraim Brice's grave. It's the same style, and I can barely make out the first name saying Ephraim. You can't really read anything else. There's also a small white marker here next to them, which maybe was an infant or a child. And then just behind them here is the Logan marker. This is where William Logan and Margaret Logan have been laid to rest. You can see at the top it's been broken off, and that's what this obelisk is here. So at one point there was that's maybe a 4-foot obelisk that went up on top of that marker. Unfortunately, it's fallen over, and I couldn't even dream of picking it up. So what this marker says is, this says William Logan died February 18th, 1865, aged about 82 years, so apparently they didn't know when he was born. And we've got Margaret, wife of William Logan, born March 15th, 1815, died February 28th, 1881. And what I missed yesterday, until I kind of came back and looked at it, is there's a name here on the side. And I can see in the shadow here, we're not going to be able to read this probably, but where this is, it's just around on the corner. What it says is Francis E. Cameron died July, what looks to be 14, 1887, aged 45 years. So I got really interested because I don't know who this is. So I went and did some research last night on Ancestry, and apparently this is one of their children. Francis Logan is their 4th child, and the age is right, and I never knew she was a Cameron. What's interesting is I can find no record of her husband other than the 1870 census he appears, and then there's no other records of him. So I'm assuming he died as a young man, and because by 1880 she is back living with the family on the family farm. So she apparently lost her husband, and to my knowledge they didn't have any children. So she's buried here with her parents, and here's her specific marker, FEC, Francis E. Cameron. Just as, here's the marker for Margaret, it says mother. You can see it's in the Logan area here. And then from here, come back here, and you can see WL, so that's where William is. And then there's another trick. Keep looking. So here on this side, I had to tear the bushes away. It says Sarah, daughter of something Logan, died January 19th, 1850, can't quite read, age 4 years, 6 months. So this was another child of the Logans who passed away at a young age. And here's her individual marker. It says Sarah. So it looks like they had this whole little area here set aside for family. That's everybody who's here. And you can see it just goes right downhill from here. It kind of falls away. So I think with them being right here on the edge of the hill, probably led to the obelisk tipping over. That's it. That's my tour of the Logans and the Brices. I hope you enjoyed it.